Good evening. This is MJ from Lioness Publications, and today we are going to do a quick session on Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is a young conservative voice. Uh, he has his own platform, and he's becoming pretty well recognized within the party. And the reason I selected him is that I've been doing a little bit more looking at, the younger crowd that's sort of coming up within the parties and trying to identify how they're using media to get their voice out there. And I thought Charlie Kirk seems to have done a rather good job of being able to get his voice heard to the people that he wants to hear his voice. Now, we don't have a time of birth for him, but we do have the date, which is October 14th, 1993. Now, we have a natal chart with the transits. We have a progression, and we have a solar arc that we're going to cover. And again, this is just to sort of get an idea of a young conservative that's up and coming, sort of maybe get an idea of, okay, where is he coming from? So the first thing I want to note is that in his natal chart, he actually has some pretty potent type of angles. He's got Sun conjunct Jupiter, and that's in Libra. So Libra is a sign of justice. It's a sign of being fair, and it's a sign that likes to balance off other people. And people with Libra tend to, move into things like the legal field or places where sometimes the military. Believe it or not, you'll have quite a few generals and things that will have Libra in their background. Libra is a diplomat. They can speak well. And maybe that's why so many in the military have it in the leadership positions, because they know diplomacy is always the first step. So with the Sun and Jupiter here conjuncting, that means he's going to have lucky things in his life. I mean, this is, I don't want to say born with a spoon in his mouth, but he's going to have opportunities, things that he can take advantage of. And again, the fairness thing, the justice. So that's interesting that he has that in the chart. Now, we also have Mars and Mercury also conjunct in Scorpio. Well, these two being conjunct mean, well, the actions and the words tend to, follow. They go along with each other. So it's not someone that says one thing and does another. And, his chart actually got me curious, and I'm thinking I really have to go take a look at some of his videos if he has them. Because I want to hear what he says. Not when he says when he wants to sort of, inflame a crowd and things like that. But I think I want to hear him talk. The Mars and Mercury in Scorpio, very biting. He can be sarcastic and he can pull apart arguments. Scorpios are really good for that. With the Mars there, he can dig down and get information. So he's someone that probably has done his research. And that's why I'm saying, with the Libra here and the Scorpio, it sounds like an interesting combination. Now, next thing in his natal chart, what we have is we've got both Uranus and Neptune conjuncting. And this is, in effect, coming up and squaring what? His Sun and Jupiter in his natal chart. So that's an interesting configuration. But with the Uranus and Neptune conjuncting, that is, he's got the change and he's got the idealism. So this is potent in that he can sort of portray a different party to the younger generation. And again, I've only seen snippets of what he said, and this makes me think I want to listen to what he says in its entirety. Now, let's take a look at his transit. But I do want to point that out because, as I said, I just found that interesting. We have Jupiter, and by the way, this transit chart is set for September 1st, so it's in about 2 or 3 weeks. This hasn't happened yet, but it will be happening. So we've got Jupiter opposing both his Neptune and his Uranus. It also will be moving to make a square to the Sun and Jupiter. Now, I suspect that this is going to be because of the conflict he's having with the White House administration now, and that's about Epstein. So this Jupiter against the Uranus and Neptune, this is in effect the opposition. He's sort of putting himself out there and trying to, in effect, get at the truth. Now the square here, this could be hurting him with his audience. But that's something, since Jupiter is relatively short-lived, we'll see whether it's going to hurt him long term. And I don't think it will. But that is something that is coming up. So I don't think he's going to back off on the Epstein. Even though he may voice it nicely, he may be going there. So let's take a look at the progression. Now, as I noted, he is a conservative voice that has a good following, and he makes a concerted effort to get out there, from what I understand, to talk to college kids. What we have in the progression is that the Sun, in about 2 years, a little less, 1.5, will be conjuncting Pluto. So we have Pluto, his foundation, Sun, his identity, his uniqueness. He's setting up for a nice platform here. Eventually, I think, he might run for office, or it may be something even more powerful. So he could create enough of an audience that maybe he doesn't need to run for office. We also have Mars that will be making a connection to his North Node. North Node is where he takes in. That will be in about a year. So Mars, his actions will allow him to even gather more of what he wants. What does he want? Bigger following. Now let's take a look at the solar arc. Solar arc, we talked about the Sun to Pluto in the progression. What we have is the Sun actually squaring Saturn. And that is going to be coming up in about a year. Saturn are his boundaries that he set in his life. Sun is, in effect, his light, his vitality, his energy, being able to address the boundaries he's set up. So, in effect, moving past the boundaries. And this likely has to do with getting a bigger audience. So it'll be very fascinating to see where he is in 2 years with his followers. Now, we also have both Uranus and Neptune here, making a connection to the Sun. So the Sun is his identity in the chart. Neptune could be that this could be his followers turning into a cult type of situation. Or it could be just people that like him and want to follow him. That is a trine, so it is an easy type of angle. So it is bringing people to him. Now, Uranus is the change piece here. And in this case, what's happening is he's changing, in effect, what his identity to the party is. So he's going to be able to portray the Conservative Party in such a way to bring people in. Now, whether it becomes a cult-like, which an example of would be like Trump, is another story. This does have the potential to become like that. And one of the reasons why I want to look at some of his ideas now is to see where he is in 2 years. Because like I said, this is interesting. I don't see that he is a liar. I see that he is, and again, this is not a really detailed look at his chart. And but I don't see he's a liar. I don't see at this point any flashes that say, oh, warning, warning. I see him just as someone that is, a conservative and that may have, researched his ideas and his thoughts on this and is able to effectively portray them out to a crowd. And I only wish that we had more other younger people doing the same thing for their political leanings. I hope you enjoyed this. And again, not too many people will probably be interested in this. But I thought it's, if you see what's coming up in a party, it can help tell you where it might be going. Otherwise, have a great day. Bye now.